Reflection. Ladies and gentlemen, you ever notice how the loudest people are usually the weakest ones? They make noise because silence scares them. They stir drama because peace exposes them. Reflection. But if you want to live a life of strength, a life of control, a life where no one can touch your spirit, you've got to learn to stand still in the storm. Reflection. The world today is addicted to attention. People feed on chaos. They want reactions. They want to pull you into their circus. But you're not a clown. You're the ringmaster of your own life. Reflection. And the moment you understand that the world can no longer control you, you see, being untouchable doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being emotionally disciplined. Reflection is knowing that peace is power, not anger, not revenge, not gossip, peace. Because peace makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable people can't be controlled. Reflection. So the next time someone tries to drag you into their drama, smile. The next time someone talks about you, stay focused. When they expect you to break, breathe. Reflection. Because real power isn't shown through reaction, it's shown through restraint. Your silence will confuse them. Your calm will disarm them. And your discipline will elevate you. Reflection. So stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop chasing validation from people who couldn't validate themselves. Reflection. You don't need to prove your worth. You need to protect your energy. Because the truth is, the moment you stop fighting every battle, you start winning the war. Be unshakable. Be focused. Reflection. Be untouchable. Silence is one of the greatest powers a person can possess, but very few understand it. In a world where everyone is racing to speak louder, argue faster, reflection, and prove themselves right, the one who remains silent stands apart. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means control. It means you've learned to choose your battles wisely. Reflection, because the truth is when you respond to everything, you give away your energy piece by piece. Every argument, every reaction, reflection, every emotional outburst drains the power that could have been used to build your dreams, your peace, your life. When you learn to stay silent in the face of noise, reflection, you start to notice something. People lose their power over you. They can't manipulate you. They can't predict you, and they can't provoke you. Reflection. The person who can't be provoked is dangerous because no one knows what you'll do next. Silence makes people wonder. It confuses those who expect a reaction. Reflection. It frustrates those who feed off chaos, and it protects your peace from those who want to disturb it. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. Reflection. You don't need to respond to every opinion thrown your way. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Silence also gives you clarity. When the noise fades, reflection, your thoughts get louder. Your true thoughts, not the ones influenced by anger or ego. In silence, you can hear your own wisdom, your own intuition. Reflection. It's in that quiet space that you realize not everything deserves your attention. You understand that your peace is more valuable than being right. Reflection. That your growth matters more than winning an argument. People who master silence master themselves. So when the world is loud, stay grounded. When others speak just to be heard, reflection, be the one who listens and observes. When drama surrounds you, be the calm in the center of the storm. Because silence isn't just about not talking. It's about knowing that your presence, reflection, your peace, and your purpose are far louder than any noise around you. When you learn to control your reactions, you take back the steering wheel of your life. Reflection. Most people are not living intentionally, they're living reactively. Every word someone says, every rumor they hear, reflection, every little situation that doesn't go their way instantly pulls an emotional response out of them. They get angry, offended, reflection, or defensive without realizing that every reaction gives someone else power over them. The truth is, the person who can control your reaction controls you. Reflection. But the moment you decide that no one will dictate how you feel, you become free. Drama thrives on reaction. It feeds off attention. When someone throws negativity your way, reflection, they want to see you lose your cool. They want to see you flustered. They want to feel powerful because they got under your skin. But when you respond with calmness, reflection, you deny them that satisfaction. When you refuse to play their game, you win without even moving. The real power lies in not responding the way they expect you to. Reflection. It's in keeping your composure when they think you'll explode. It's in smiling when they want you to break. And it's in walking away when they want you to fight. Reflection. That's what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Controlling your reaction doesn't mean you ignore disrespect. It means you respond with strategy, not emotion. Reflection. You choose when to speak, how to speak, and whether it's even worth your words. Sometimes silence cuts deeper than any argument. Sometimes walking away hurts more than shouting back. Reflection. You begin to realize that peace is not avoiding confrontation. Peace is facing life with maturity, knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Reflection. People often mistake control for weakness, but it's the exact opposite. Anyone can get angry. Anyone can lash out. But it takes discipline, emotional intelligence, reflection, and self-awareness to stay calm when everything around you is pushing you to react. That kind of control is rare, and it's powerful. Because the calmer you are, the clearer you think. Reflection. The clearer you think, the better your decisions. And the better your decisions, the greater your results. So while others are losing control, stay centered. When people throw chaos at you, reflection, respond with peace. When life tests your patience, respond with discipline. The less you react, the stronger you become. Reflection, because control is not about what happens around you. It's about what happens within you. Emotional discipline is the foundation of true strength. Reflection, it's not about pretending you don't feel pain, anger, or frustration. It's about mastering those emotions so they don't master you. Everyone feels emotions. It's part of being human. Reflection. But the difference between those who rise and those who crumble is how they handle those emotions when life gets difficult. When you have emotional discipline, reflection, you don't allow temporary feelings to create permanent damage. You think before you speak, you breathe before you react, and you reflect before you make a move. Reflection. That kind of control doesn't come easy. It comes from experience, from pain, from learning to pause instead of explode. Reflection. People who lack emotional discipline often live in a constant state of chaos. One small problem ruins their whole day. One negative comment destroys their confidence. Reflection. One rejection makes them doubt their worth. They live like emotional puppets, pulled in every direction by whatever happens around them. But when you develop emotional control, reflection, you stop being a puppet and start becoming the master. You realize that your emotions are messengers, not masters. They can inform you, but they shouldn't define you. Reflection, the strongest people are not those who never feel anger, fear, or sadness. They are the ones who can feel it deeply and still choose to act with wisdom. Reflection, emotional discipline teaches you that peace is not the absence of emotion, it's the ability to manage emotion. You can be angry without being destructive. Reflection, you can be hurt without becoming bitter. You can be sad without losing hope. That's the kind of emotional maturity that separates the great from the average. In a world full of impulsive reactions, being emotionally disciplined makes you stand out. When others argue, you listen. When others rush, you wait. When others panic, you think clearly. Reflection. And because of that, you make better choices. You don't burn bridges in moments of anger. You don't sabotage your future over temporary feelings. Reflection. You learn that patience pays more than rage ever could. Emotional discipline also protects your relationships, your reputation, and your peace. When you learn to control your emotions, reflection, you stop allowing other people to dictate your mood. You stop being easily offended because you understand that what people say about you is a reflection of them, not you. Reflection. You stop reacting to negativity because you value your energy too much to waste it on things that don't grow you. Reflection. That's what makes you untouchable when no one can pull you out of your peace, no matter what they do. So when your emotions rise, don't suppress them. Guide them. Feel everything, reflection, but don't let everything control you. Respond with purpose, not impulse. Because the one who can master their emotions can master their life. Reflection, protecting your energy is not selfish, it's survival. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your time, and your emotions, protecting your energy becomes an act of strength. Reflection, there are people who drain you without you even realizing it. Constant complainers, gossipers, manipulators, and those who always bring negativity into your space. Reflection. If you don't learn to protect yourself, you'll spend your life trying to fix people who don't even want to change, fighting battles that aren't yours. Reflection, and carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Protecting your energy means recognizing that not every conversation, not every argument, and not every person deserves access to your peace. Reflection, your energy is your currency, and how you spend it determines the quality of your life. When you give too much of it to the wrong people, you end up bankrupt. Emotionally, mentally, reflection, and spiritually. Protecting your energy is about setting boundaries even when it feels uncomfortable. It's about saying now without guilt, walking away from chaos without apology. Reflection, and distancing yourself from anything that drains your spirit, because peace is expensive and not everyone deserves a share of it. Some people will test your patience just to steal your power. Reflection, but when you recognize the value of your inner peace, you stop handing it out so freely. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of what you consume, not just food, but conversations, reflection, news, music, and even thoughts. Everything you take in shapes the way you feel. If you surround yourself with negativity, you'll carry it without realizing it. But when you choose positivity, reflection, when you focus on growth, gratitude, and peace, your entire mindset shifts. You start attracting better things, not because life suddenly became easy, reflection, because you stopped feeding what was destroying you. People often misunderstand peace as isolation, reflection, but it's not about cutting everyone off. It's about choosing who gets close enough to influence your mood, your focus, and your energy. You can still love people from a distance, reflection, support them without draining yourself, and care without losing your peace. Protecting your energy is not about arrogance. It's about self-respect, reflection. It's about understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're always giving, always helping, always listening to everyone's problems, but never recharging your own soul, reflection, eventually you burn out. When you protect your energy, you start to notice how light your spirit feels. You stop over-explaining, you stop chasing people, and you stop tolerating nonsense. Reflection, you become more peaceful, more focused, more in control. You begin to realize that your energy is sacred, and not everyone should have access to it. Reflection, because the moment you decide to guard your peace like it's gold, that's when you truly become untouchable. Reflection, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone who is committed to misunderstanding you. The moment you realize that, life becomes lighter. Too often, reflection, we waste time and energy trying to make people see our intentions, trying to justify our choices, trying to prove our worth to those who have already made up their minds about us. Reflection. But the truth is, no matter how clear you are, some people will only hear what fits their story. You can't reason with those who thrive on confusion. Reflection. You can't explain vision to people who only see limitations. The more you try to convince them, the more you drain yourself. So instead of explaining, start elevating. Reflection. Instead of defending your decisions, let your results speak. Because real growth doesn't need an audience. It needs focus. When you stop explaining and start elevating, reflection, you shift your energy from proving to improving. You no longer waste time arguing with people who will never understand your journey. You start walking with purpose, not permission. Reflection. You begin to realize that the ones who truly matter don't need explanations. They understand you through your consistency, your actions, and your character. The rest are just noise, reflection, and noise fades when you rise above it. Every minute spent justifying yourself is a minute stolen from your progress. You don't owe explanations to those who doubt you, reflection, because doubt is their limitation, not yours. People who misunderstand you will often twist your words, question your motives, or try to make you second guess yourself. Reflection. That's why silence becomes your protection and success becomes your answer. When you elevate, the same people who judged you will start asking how you did it. Reflection. The same ones who doubted you will start quoting your words. You don't have to convince anyone. Your discipline, your results, your peace will do it for you. Reflection. Explaining yourself often comes from a need for validation. You want to be seen, to be accepted, to be understood. But true confidence means being okay even when you're not understood. Reflection. It means standing firm in who you are, knowing that not everyone deserves access to your truth. Some people misunderstand you not because you're unclear, reflection, but because your clarity threatens their comfort. They prefer the version of you that stayed small, silent, and predictable. So when you start growing, when you start setting boundaries, reflection, when you stop engaging in their drama, they'll call you distant or arrogant. Let them. Their opinion doesn't define your direction. Elevation requires separation. When you rise, reflection, you'll naturally outgrow certain people, habits, and conversations. Don't try to drag everyone with you. Some are not meant to go where you're going. Keep your focus on your growth, reflection, your purpose, and your peace. Let your actions speak louder than explanations ever could. Because the higher you go, the less noise you hear. Reflection. You don't need to prove you're doing better. You just need to keep doing better. And when your results start shining, no words will be necessary. Reflection. Restraint is one of the most underrated forms of power. In a world where everyone is quick to react, quick to post, quick to argue, reflection, the person who can pause, who can breathe and choose silence over impulse, holds the real strength. Restraint doesn't mean weakness. It means mastery. Reflection. It's the ability to stay calm when you have every reason to lose control. Reflection. It's knowing that just because you can't respond doesn't mean you should. The loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. Sometimes, reflection. It's the quiet one in the corner who's thinking, observing, and choosing the right moment to move. That's power. Calm, collected, unshakable power. When you practice restraint, reflection, you stop letting temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Anger lasts seconds, but the damage it causes can last years. One reckless word, one impulsive action can destroy trust, reflection, relationships, and even your peace. But when you learn to hold your tongue, when you learn to wait before reacting, you take control of every situation. Reflection, you become the person no one can manipulate because you cannot be provoked into foolishness. Restraint gives you time to think, and thinking gives you the advantage. Reflection, The one who can remain calm when others panic is always the one who wins in the end. Restraint is also a sign of deep confidence. Reflection. You don't need to prove your strength when you already know your worth. You don't need to respond to every insult or challenge when you're focused on something bigger. Reflection. People who lack restraint waste their energy reacting to everything that comes their way. They fight battles that don't matter. They argue to be heard. Reflection. They lose their peace trying to prove points that change nothing. But those with restraint choose their responses with intention. They conserve their energy for what truly matters. Reflection. They understand that not everything deserves their attention and not everyone deserves their reaction. Restraint is what keeps you in control when everything around you feels chaotic. Reflection. It's what allows you to smile when others try to push your buttons, to stay focused when distractions surround you, to keep moving forward when others want to pull you into their mess. Flexion. It's quiet power, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be felt. When you master restraint, you become unpredictable. People can't figure you out, can't anticipate your moves. Reflection. Can't control your emotions. And when they can't control your emotions, they can't control you. Practicing restraint also teaches you patience. Reflection. It teaches you that timing is everything, that sometimes the best move is no move at all. When you hold back, instead of reacting, you allow truth to reveal itself. And often, reflection, the situation resolves without your interference. You learn that peace comes from discipline, not dominance. Real power doesn't always roar. Sometimes, reflection, it's the quiet decision to stay still, to stay composed, to stay centered while everyone else loses themselves. So while others chase validation through reaction, choose the higher path. Flexion. When they provoke you, let your calm be your weapon. When they expect you to fall, let your patience confuse them. Because restraint is not about suppression. It's about strength. Flexion, it's about knowing when to act and when to stay still. And when you master that balance, you no longer need to prove your power. You become the very definition of it. In the end, reflection. Being untouchable isn't about being cold, distant, or emotionless. It's about being in control of yourself when the world tries to control you. Reflection. It's about walking through chaos with calm in your eyes and peace in your heart. It's about mastering your silence, your reactions, your emotions, your energy, your focus, and your restraint. Reflection. Because when you own yourself, nothing outside of you can shake you. The world will always have drama, noise, and people who try to pull you down. But you don't have to join them. Reflection, you rise differently. You move quietly. You protect your peace like it's sacred. You let your growth do the talking. Reflection, the goal is not to fight every battle, it's to win the war within yourself. So walk with discipline, speak with purpose, and move with confidence. Don't let the world change your peace. Reflection, let your peace change the world. That's how you become untouchable. Not by building walls around your heart, but by building strength within your soul.